Hey, making mastery learning a reality one day at a time. Here, John Bergman. First day of school is almost done, and something that went really well today is that I sent an email home before school started, and I gave students extra credit. They love extra credit if they connected to the 5 technology tools that they're supposed to use in this class. And so they had to connect to our video host, our learning management system, Flipgrid for some video stuff, etc. So I had these 5 tools, and I sent the email with all the instruction. I would say about 30%, more than 40% of my students were able to connect with all the technology tools. With just the instructions that I sent home in the email. And then the cool is that, the goal number one goal was to get them so they could connect to all the technology tools. Because tonight, their goal is to watch a video, but they need how to get to the video. And so we use class time for them to connect to the tech tools. But now you see, when I had 40% of my students who already done it, then what I had them do is they would become my helpers. I said, you help the other people connect. And then what I had them do is I had them then, if they finished and connected all 5 technology tools, they get their assignment for the first day, and then they take a marker. They get to pick which marker they have. So like this R right here, you can see, and then they would put it into A1. This is the leaderboard, and as they move through mastery, they're gonna move their markers across. So I allowed them to pick a marker. I wrote down what their marker was, and very highly effective. And I finished the day, by the way, with just fun stuff. I did in science, cool stuff you could do. I did a cool chemistry demonstration where I drank a water that burned. It was, or a liquid I should say, that burned, and they were like, whoa, it's super awesome. In physics, we had them build a launcher. So there's just fun things to do. So it wasn't just all about the logistics. And the other sort of big pro tip is I actually did not read the syllabus. I didn't talk about mastery. What I did is I made sure they knew how to get to videos that I'd created on how to do mastery. What is mastery? Why mastery? Those videos, I just wanted them to have access to those so that tonight, when they're still excited about school, right? First day of school, they're gonna watch these videos, and then tomorrow we're gonna debrief and have conversations about what it is that they need to do in a mastery classroom. They're gonna ask lots of questions tomorrow. This has been my experience over the years, and I want them to do that. But instead of me, droning on at the front of the room, what I'm able to do is have that conversation tomorrow, because even as I speak, I'm sure some of them are interacting with that through our video platform tool called Perusall that they're gonna use. So a good first day, and notice I'm setting it up for mastery. I'm gonna spend this first few days of school, maybe week or whatever, spending time teaching them how to work in a mastery setting. And so that's one of my huge encouragements to you, is to think that through. What steps do you need to have? I'm not making an assumption they know how to watch a video. I'm not making an assumption that they know how to access the technology tools. I'm not making a lot of assumptions at all. So I want to spend the time teaching them how to learn. I want to teach them how to take Cornell notes eventually. That's in a couple of days. I'm thinking through that. So my encouragement to you, as you set up your mastery classroom, or any classroom for that matter, is to think through what it is that you need to do to set it up. And the other thing I'm spending some time on in these days, and these plannings, I'm working on practicing their names. I've given them an assigned seat. They're sitting at their assigned seats. Eventually they're going to be up and around. That's part of the goal. But in their assigned seats, then I can know. I can memorize spatially. Something about the way my brain works. And I walk around this room and I say their name over and over and over again. What confuses me, honestly, is that the students, I've got 5 different classes, and I've got Asher sits in the same seat as Ava in a different class, and so I can get them garbled in my brain. But yeah, and I guess I said that was the last thing. One more thing I'll say. The other thing that I do, and I got this idea from Katie Bergman, my daughter, is what she does what she calls an attendance question each day. So today the question was, if you had your phone, you only could have 3 apps. You had to delete everything else. What 3 apps are there? And what I do is I call out their name. I did it in alphabetical order this time, and I call out their name, and I'm taking attendance, but I'm also kind of looking at their face while they're doing this, and I'm trying to sort of memorize their face. And I was just literally just trying to get to know them. Some of it apps I'd never heard of, so like, what's up with that? A lot said, I like Netflix, so what's your favorite Netflix show? So just kind of that get to know, it comes down to good teaching, comes down to making and developing relationships with students and connections. So yeah, you can make mastery learning a reality one day at a time. But it takes a lot of work, but I'm doing it. You can follow along. Please push subscribe if you're interested in more from this podcast.